My wife texted, "I want a divorce, I'm in love with someone else." I replied, "Sign the papers." She did. What she didn't know was that someone else was my brother, and he was in on it. The inheritance she wanted was gone before she even filed. Original post. I 48 male got the text on a Wednesday afternoon. Been married to Diane 45 for 14 years. She was at her book club when my phone buzzed. Diane. I want a divorce. I'm in love with someone else. I've already contacted a lawyer. Please don't make this difficult. Sat in my truck outside the lumberyard, staring at those words. No shock, really. Maybe relief. She'd been distant for months. Late meetings. New clothes. That thing where she'd angle her phone away when texting. Texted back. Okay, send me the papers when they're ready. That's it. No fight. I mean, what's the point? You clearly made up your mind. I thought you'd at least want to know who. Doesn't matter. But it did matter. Because 3 days later my brother Teeth, 44M, called. Voice shaking. Man, I gotta tell you something. About Diane and me. And there it was. My wife. My younger brother. 6 months of sneaking around. Meeting at his apartment when I thought she was at yoga. Texting constantly while sitting next to me on the couch. She said you two were basically done anyway, Teeth said. Said you were just roommates. I'm sorry but. We're in love. Real love. I let him finish. Then I said 5 words that probably confused him. Thanks for telling me, Teeth. Hung up, sat there for a long minute. Then I called my lawyer, Philip. Old friend from high school. Phil, I need you to do something for me. Fast. See, here's the thing nobody knew. 6 months ago, my uncle Raymond died. Left me $340,000. Cash inheritance from his lifetime of saving. No kids, I was his favorite nephew. The money hit my account in February. Diane knew about it. Oh, she definitely knew. Suddenly started being nicer. Talking about our future. Vacation plans, new house ideas. She was planning her exit strategy while securing the bag. But what she didn't know. I'd had a feeling. Call it instinct. Her behavior changed right after the inheritance news. Too convenient. So I'd move the money. Every penny. Transferred it to my mom's account for estate planning purposes. Mom was 71, sharp as a tack. We set up a series of loans and gifts that made the money effectively untraceable as marital property. Phil walked me through the whole thing. Took 3 months of careful planning, documents, affidavits, legitimate financial restructuring. All legal, all documented, all done before Diane ever mentioned divorce. You're a smart man, Phil had said back then. Protecting assets before trouble hits. Turns out I was right about the trouble. Just didn't expect it to be wearing Keith's face. Update 1, 2 weeks later. The divorce papers arrived. Diane wanted half the house value, $280,000, half of all accounts and assets. Spousal support of $2,500 a month for 5 years. Her car, already in her name. And she generously said I could keep my truck and tools. The asset list mentioned inheritance funds approximately $340,000 as marital property to be split. Phil reviewed everything, smiled, actually smiled. She doesn't know, does she? Nope. Filed the response, agreed to the divorce, contested the asset division, attached documentation showing the inheritance money was gone, transferred to my mother as part of estate planning months before any divorce filing. Legal, documented, provable. Also attached, a statutory declaration that I'd be willing to submit phone records to the court. I'd saved every text, every call log. Let them explain 6 months of daily contact between Diane and Keith if they wanted to fight dirty. Diane called that night. First time I'd heard her voice in 2 weeks. What do you mean the money's gone? Gave it to Mom, estate planning. It's in her name now. You can't do that. That was our money. Actually, it was my inheritance, and I can do whatever I want with my own money. Did it 6 months ago. This is fraud. You hid assets. Nope. Legal transfer, documented. Want to see the paperwork? My lawyer has copies. She hung up. Called back 5 minutes later. Keith said you knew. About us. Yep. And you're okay with it? Laughed. Couldn't help it. Diane, you're leaving me for my brother. Whether I'm okay with it doesn't change anything. You two deserve each other. Don't be like that. Sign the papers. Take the house if you want. Take whatever's actually in my name. But that inheritance. Already gone. Have a good life. Blocked her number. Wasn't worth the energy. Keith texted the next day. Bro, we need to talk man to man. Me, we really don't. Diane's freaking out about money. Says you hid stuff. Me didn't hide anything. Moved it legally 6 months before she even mentioned divorce. Not my problem. That's cold, man. After everything. After everything. You mean after you slept with my wife for 6 months? Yeah. Real tragedy. Mom called later. Diane's mother phoned me. Nasty woman said you stole from Diane. What did you tell her? Told her the money's mine. Legally transferred. And if she calls again, I'm getting a restraining order. Then I hung up. Love my mom. Update 2. 1 month later. Things escalated. Diane hired a different lawyer. Aggressive type. Started demanding financial discovery on everything. Wanted bank records, credit card statements, proof of where the inheritance went. Phil was ready. Handed over everything. The paper trail was crystal clear. Uncle Raymond's estate transfer. $340,000 to my account. February. Series of gifts to my mother. $100,000 spread over 3 months. March-May. Loan to mother for her property refinance. $180,000. April. Investment in mother's business LLC. $60,000. May. All documented. All legal. All done months before Diane texted about divorce. Her lawyer tried to argue dissipation of assets. That I deliberately wasted money to spite her. Phil shut that down. Your Honor, my client engaged in standard estate planning with his elderly mother months before any divorce filing. There was no indication of marital trouble at that time. The transfers were legitimate financial planning between a son and his mother. The judge reviewed the timeline. Looked at Diane's lawyer. These transfers predate the divorce petition by 4 months. Unless you have evidence Mr. Hayes knew about the divorce before your client filed. This looks like legitimate financial planning. Diane's lawyer tried. Your Honor, the timing is suspicious. Suspicious is an illegal counselor. Show me evidence of fraud or move on. They had nothing. No proof I knew she was planning to leave. No evidence of wrongdoing. Just a timeline that showed I'd moved money before she ever mentioned divorce. Outside the courtroom, Diane cornered me. Keith was with her. First time I'd seen them together. You did this on purpose. She hissed. Did what? Estate planning with my mom. Yeah, that was the purpose. Keith jumped in. You knew. You had to know. About you too. Nah. Suspected Diane was cheating. Didn't know it was you until you called. Looked at him. Gotta say that was a real low move. Even for you. We're in love. You're in love with what you thought was half of $340,000. Difference is she actually loved me at some point. You're just the idiot who believed her. Diane's face went red. I never lied to Keith. Really? So you told him you married me 2 months after my insurance settlement from the car accident? That you pushed for the big wedding right after I got the $50,000 payout? That you've been sniffing around every time money hits my account? Keith looked at her. Something shifted in his expression. She said you were financially controlling, he said slowly. Yeah. Ask her who paid off her credit cards. Twice. Ask her who bought that car she drives. Ask her who funded her consulting business that never made a dime. Keith went quiet. Diane grabbed his arm. Don't listen to him. He's trying to turn you against me. But doubt was there now. In his eyes. Good. They left together, but Keith kept looking back. Update 3. 2 months later. Mediation was a disaster. Diane wanted everything. The house, the furniture, half my business equipment, ongoing support. Her new lawyer was pushing hard. Phil stayed calm. Laid out the reality. My client owns a small contracting business with minimal assets. The family home has a mortgage of $190,000 against a value of $280,000. That's $90,000 in equity. We're willing to offer Mrs. Hayes $45,000 as her share and she can walk away clean. That's insulting. Diane's lawyer snapped. She's entitled to half of everything, including the inheritance. The inheritance that's been legally transferred to his mother. We've been over this. Unless you have new evidence, that money isn't on the table. They demanded proof the transfers were legitimate. Phil provided. Loan documents showing my mother refinanced her property. Business documents showing the LLC investment. Give tax returns filed properly. Affidavits from the bank confirming the transactions. Everything checked out. Because it was real. I really had given the money to Mom. The fact that I did it because I suspected Diane was scheming didn't make it illegal. The mediator finally spoke up. Mrs. Hayes, I'm seeing a clear paper trail here. These transfers appear legitimate. Unless you can prove they weren't, I don't think you'll win this in court. Diane stood up. This is ridiculous. He stole from me. He gave money to his mother before you filed for divorce, the mediator said flatly. That's not theft. That's estate planning. She stormed out. Her lawyer followed, looking tired. Phil closed his folder. They'll take the settlement. Give them a week. He was right. 5 days later, her lawyer called. They'd accept the $45,000 plus she keeps her car and personal items. I keep the house, my business, everything else. Divorce finalized 6 weeks later. Cost me $45,000 and about $8,000 in legal fees. Compared to the $170,000 she wanted, I'll take it. But the real entertainment was just starting. Found out through my sister that Keith and Diane's relationship imploded about 3 weeks after the mediation. Apparently, once Keith realized there was no money, the love faded fast. According to my sister, he borrowed $15,000 to help with Diane's legal fees, expecting to get it back from the settlement. When Diane got the $45,000, she paid her lawyer and kept the rest. Told Keith she needed it for a security deposit on an apartment. He never saw a dime back. They broke up spectacularly at a family barbecue. Keith demanded his money. Diane said it was a gift. It got loud. My sister recorded some of it. Keith called Diane a gold-digging user. Diane called Keith a pathetic mama's boy who can't keep it in his pants. Mom watched the whole thing from the porch, sipping iced tea. Well, she said to me, that worked out. Yeah, Mom, it really did. The fallout continued. Keith tried calling me multiple times, left voicemails about family and being brothers again, wanted to meet for a beer, talk things through, deleted every message. He made his choice. My sister hosted Thanksgiving, awkward, since Keith was technically invited. He showed up alone. I came with Mom. The tension was immediate. Keith tried to approach me. Hey, man, can we talk? Nope. Come on. It's been months. We're brothers. Brothers don't sleep with each other's wives, Keith. We're related. That's different. He flinched. Mom patted my arm. We moved to the other room. Heard later that Keith spent the whole dinner trying to explain himself to anyone who'd listen. How Diane had pursued him. How she'd said I was emotionally abusive. How she'd promised they'd build a life together. My aunt shut him down. You slept with your brother's wife, Keith. Nobody wants to hear your excuses. He left early. Meanwhile, Diane was having her own problems. Turned out that $45,000 didn't go far. Rent, deposits, furniture, her car payment. She went back to her old job at the insurance office. Hated it, according to mutual acquaintances. She tried calling me once. I was at the house, working on installing new cabinets in the kitchen. Finally answered on the 5th ring. What? I wanted to say I'm sorry for how things ended. Okay. That's it. Just okay. What do you want, Diane? You got your divorce. You got money. What else is there? I made a mistake with Keith. With everything. Cool, learn from it. We were together for 14 years. And you threw it away the second you thought you'd get half of an inheritance. That tells me everything I needed to know. That's not fair. I did love you. Maybe. But you loved money more. And you sure as hell didn't respect me enough to end things honestly. She went quiet. Then I saw your mom at the grocery store. She had a new car. There it was. The real reason for the call. Yeah, she bought herself a nice Cadillac. Retirement gift to herself. With the money you gave her. With her money. That she legally owns. You planned this. All of it. I protected myself, Diane. That's what you do when you suspect someone's using you. Turns out I was right. Hung up. Blocked the number. Mom did buy a new car. Also took a cruise. Put a new roof on her house. The money was hers. She'd earned it by raising me and being there when Dad died. If she wanted to spend it, that was her call. The inheritance was never about the money anyway. It was about watching Diane's face when she realized she'd gambled on a payout that didn't exist. Final update. 8 months later. Life's pretty good now. House is mine. Fully renovated. Business is growing. Hired 2 new guys this quarter. Keith tried one more time to reconcile. Showed up at a job site. I was framing an addition for a client. We need to talk, he said. We really don't. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But we're brothers. Family forgives. Put down the nail gun. Looked at him. You want forgiveness? Here it is. I forgive you for being stupid enough to believe Diane actually cared about you. I forgive you for thinking with your dick instead of your brain. There. Forgiven. That's not. But forgiveness doesn't mean I want you in my life, Keith. You made a choice. You live with it. I'm living with mine. And honestly, I'm good. She used me, he said quietly. Diane. She never loved me. Just wanted the money she thought I'd help her get from you. Yeah, man. I know. And you let it happen. You knew she'd go after me. That stopped me. Because yeah, part of me had wondered if she'd target Keith. He was always a little weak. Always looking for validation. Easy mark. I didn't make you sleep with her, I said. That was your choice. You could have warned me. Why? You called me to tell me you were in love with my wife. Would you have listened to a warning? He had no answer for that. Go home, Keith. Build whatever life you're gonna build. But leave me out of it. He left. Haven't seen him since. Diane, from what I hear, is dating someone new. Some guy she met online. Hope it works out for her. Genuinely. Not because I care, but because I don't want her coming back around. Mom's doing great. Invested most of the money wisely. Set up a trust for my nieces and nephews. Living her best retired life. As for me, fixed up the house exactly how I wanted it. No compromises, no discussions about paint colors or cabinet styles. It's mine. Feels good. Met someone a few months back. Amy, 46, owns a catering business. We're taking it slow. She knows about the Keith. Didn't run screaming, so that's promising. Had an interesting conversation with her last week over dinner. Did you really not know it was your brother? She asked. Honestly, I suspected she was cheating. Didn't know it was Keith until he told me. But you moved the money anyway. Yeah. Figured whoever it was Diane was positioning herself for a payout wasn't about to fund her exit. Amy smiled. That's pretty calculated. That's survival. She raised her glass. To survival, then. We clinked glasses. And yeah. To survival. The inheritance drama taught me something important. Not about money. I would have been fine splitting assets if Diane had been honest. But she wasn't. She played games. Made plans. Used people. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate. It's just being 3 steps ahead and watching their plans crumble because they underestimated you. Diane thought I'd roll over. Thought I was the stable, boring husband who'd never see it coming. Keith thought he was getting a woman and a payday. They both thought wrong. And the money? Mom's putting it to good use. Set up a scholarship at the community college in Uncle Raymond's name. He would have liked that. As for me, I'm just living my life. Building things. Making an honest living. Sleeping well at night knowing I don't owe anyone anything. That's worth more than any inheritance.